Welcome to Harrowing Tales, where the most chilling stories await you. Tonight, I'll guide you through a tale that might just linger in your mind long after the lights go out. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share where you're watching from and the time. It's always darkest before dawn, isn't it? Now, get comfortable, relax, and let's step into the shadows together. The old woman sat hunched over the crackling fire, her face illuminated by the dancing flames. Her eyes, though clouded with cataracts, held a wisdom that belied her age. "They say," she began, her voice a low, gravelly whisper, "that the fog brings whispers." The children, huddled around the fire, shivered. It was a cold, damp night, the fog swirling around the edges of the village, obscuring the already dim moonlight. "Whispers?" asked Lily, her voice trembling. The old woman nodded, her eyes fixed on the flames. "Whispers of the lost, of the forgotten, of those who have been swallowed by the fog." The children exchanged nervous glances. The fog, a constant presence in their lives, had always held a certain mystique. They had been warned by their elders never to venture into the fog, never to stray from the well-worn paths that led to and from the village. "What do they whisper?" asked Tom, his voice barely audible. The old woman leaned closer, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial hush. "They whisper of despair, of loneliness, of the longing for a touch, a connection." The children shivered, their imaginations running wild. They pictured ghostly figures lurking in the fog, their eyes glowing with an eerie light, their voices whispering tales of sorrow and despair. That night, sleep eluded the children. They lay awake, their ears straining for the slightest sound, their imaginations conjuring up terrifying images of the lost souls wandering the fog-shrouded streets. The next morning, the fog had lifted, revealing a landscape shrouded in an eerie silence. The villagers, their faces pale and drawn, spoke of strange occurrences during the night. Whispers on the wind, fleeting shadows that seemed to move on their own, the chilling sensation of being watched. Fear, a cold, clammy hand, gripped the village. The children, no longer venturing out to play, remained indoors, their laughter replaced by an eerie silence. One by one, the villagers began to disappear. They would venture out into the fog, drawn by an irresistible force, and vanish without a trace. The villagers, gripped by terror, sought help from the neighboring villages, but no one dared to venture into the fog-shrouded valley. They were left to face their fears alone, their community slowly dwindling, consumed by the whispers of the lost. Then, a young woman named Alara, a stranger to the village, arrived. She was a traveler, a wanderer, her eyes filled with a quiet strength. She offered to help the villagers, to confront the whispers, to save their community from the encroaching fog. The villagers, desperate for help, welcomed her with open arms. Alara, with her calm demeanor and unwavering courage, began to investigate the disappearances. She spent days exploring the fog-shrouded woods, listening to the whispers, trying to understand the source of the evil. She discovered that the whispers were not just sounds, but entities, malevolent spirits trapped within the fog, feeding on the fear and despair of the living. They were drawn to the emotions of the villagers, their strength growing with each passing fear, each whispered word of dread. Alara, armed with this knowledge, devised a plan. She gathered the remaining villagers, their faces pale and drawn, their eyes filled with a mixture of fear and hope. "We must not fight the whispers," she said, her voice calm and steady. "We must silence them." She instructed the villagers to gather all the objects that evoked feelings of joy, of happiness, of love, photographs, toys, musical instruments, anything that brought them joy. Then, under the cover of darkness, they ventured into the fog, their hearts pounding with fear, but their spirits buoyed by Alara's unwavering courage. They carried with them the objects of joy, their laughter and music echoing through the swirling mist, a counterpoint to the chilling whispers of the lost. As they ventured deeper into the fog, the whispers grew louder, more insistent, urging them to turn back, to succumb to the despair. But the villagers pressed on, their laughter growing louder, their music more vibrant. Finally, they reached the heart of the fog, a swirling vortex of mist that seemed to suck the life out of everything that entered it. They stood on the edge of the vortex, their hearts pounding, their eyes fixed on the swirling mass of gray. Then, they began to play music, to sing, to laugh, to fill the air with joy and happiness. Their laughter, like a beacon of light, pierced through the gloom, drowning out the chilling whispers of the lost. The vortex, deprived of the fear and despair that had nourished it, began to weaken. The swirling mist began to dissipate, the chilling whispers fading away. The villagers, emboldened by their success, continued to sing and laugh, their voices echoing through the clearing. Finally, the fog, weakened and defeated, began to lift, revealing a landscape bathed in sunlight. The villagers, their hearts filled with joy and relief, returned to their homes, their laughter echoing through the streets. The darkness, though never entirely vanquished, had been pushed back, its grip on the village loosened. And as the sun set, casting long shadows across the land, the villagers looked towards the future with a renewed sense of hope, knowing that even in the face of the most terrifying darkness, the power of joy and laughter could always prevail.